Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of the Brew Detroit Podcast. We have two very special guests today. See them right here. I'll have them introduce themselves because they will know way more about themselves and how they want to do that than I will. So
wait, introduce yourself first. You always forget.
I was just about to do that.
I don't believe you.
I'm lying. I wasn't going to do that.
I know.
I am Dave Seacott, Director of Sales and Marketing for Brew Detroit, and the co-host with.
Hi, I'm Zach.
Clark,
as always. Yep.
For the Brew Detroit Podcast, and I'll start to my left so we can go this way and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you guys for having me here and us here.
Yeah,
so I'm Barb Baker. I'm the Siren of Stout on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, basically anything, TikTok. I am also the president of Fermenta, the newly minted president of Fermenta. I'm very excited about that. That's, so I've been president for January, February, March, April, 4 months.
Well, congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gone by fast. It's like I just was voted in last week.
We are so lucky to have her.
So lucky. What else do I do? I'm kind of like, somebody said I was like an influencer, and I was like, I don't think so. My whole goal is or my mission being the Siren of Stout or being me, is to get women and people of color into beer and have them be as welcomed and as comfortable in this space as I've always been. So that's sort of my thing.
Annette.
Hi, everyone. I'm Annette May, Advanced Cicerone BJCP Judge and Certified Sake Professional. And I'm just going to point out to Dave, I know how to pronounce your last name.
You do?
I never knew if it was C-code or if it was the Italian pronunciation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's awesome.
You're welcome.
So I just call you Brew Detroit Dave.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I
That's
don't
totally
like to mispronounce people's names.
I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. It doesn't.
So I've been in the beer biz for about 27 years, part of it in Chicago and the rest of it here. I have a funny accent. I'm from Australia, just FYI. And I'm on faculty at Schoolcraft College in their brewing and distillation technology program. I teach a lot of Cicerone kind of stuff. I also do a little bit of work for the Cicerone certification program, and I am the scholarship director for Fermenta as well. So I guess that's enough about me.
Yeah,
I'm glad you let her go after, because it almost feels
saying,
like, have you ever heard Jay-Z talk about when he let DMX go before him?
Yes.
One time? Every time I hear that, I die laughing. So basically, she's DMX,
She's DMX.
Yeah.
and I'm Jay-Z.
I have no idea what these people are talking about.
It's a good thing that you went last.
It's a good thing that you went. Yeah.
The reference is correct.
I will just leave it at that.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And Barb is awesome. And I'm
Yes.
sorry,
That's okay.
I'm going to interrupt and talk too much.
you could.
but,
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate the term influencer. I really hate it. But, if we could come up with another term, that's kind of what she is in such a great, great way. I just don't like that term.
Yeah, I
so
don't
we need
either.
to come up with something special
puts
for
you in
Barb.
this group that people have this idea of what an influencer is nowadays.
But
Me
I think
too, though.
But it's
Like-
different though, right? Like influencers are trying to get you to try a certain thing, a certain brand, think a certain way. Yeah. You're welcoming people. It's like an ambassador is better than
Ambassador.
Ooh,
That's
I
much,
like
much
that.
better, yes.
right? Because I know what you mean when you talk about influencer, and a lot of times, especially these days, influencers are connected to dollars. It's what people do for a living, and this is.
I
not,
want dollars too.
Right.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
I'm not trying to
There's
stop you.
dollars out there.
I'm not
to be
trying.
had?
Get paid.
Saying, but
I just feel like it's like they're doing things for likes. Like they're doing things for like me, look at me. And that's never why I did it. I mean, I love this industry. I love beer. I love the people that I've met. I've been so lucky since from the beginning to only sort of run into really cool people who have been like, we're glad you're here. Stick around. So
that's
hey.
But check
way it
out
should
her
be, though.
Instagram, because she has the most amazing little videos and it's all about beer, and she does it in such a brilliant way. I just watch her videos and, it will teach you, or they will teach you a lot of stuff.
It's like a circle jerk. I like this.
all right, who's next?
Who's Tommy? You want to say anything back there? You good? All right.
We love you too.
getting into we're talking about Schoolcraft and the Cicerone program, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is it true that you are the first female in the U.S. to get the Cicerone certification?
That is actually true. The program started in 2008, and I was the first female to attain the certified Cicerone certification.
got it.
It
Okay.
was in the US because it's a US-based program,
Right.
but it was also I was the first one in the world.
Oh, in the world, even better.
You know, which is kind of silly because it's, you know, a US program.
Right,
so
correct.
it pertains to
But
both.
still, I mean, that's the way I would explain
but
it. But
I do just want to point out there, you know, there's nothing special about being a female cicerone. We're all cicerones.
Yeah,
we all
correct,
work together.
Yep.
The thing that I took out of it and what I thought was really cool was at that point I really started mentoring other women.
Right.
And said, you know, you can do this too. So that's why it was important.
And I think I don't know I can't remember how far back it was, but the first time I met you was when my mother-in-law was putting on an event. And she got all the...
It was in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It was in that nursery place.
It was, yes. That was the first time I met you in person, at least. I think we had said hello or something like that along the line somewhere, right? So, like, actually being able to sit down, not stand up, I guess, and serve beer to other people and watch you go through basically, you know, the off flavor thing, right? So, like, you taught people how to basically... examine their beer and how they're smelling and what it is. Like if your nose is plugged up, like can you actually taste, you know, the beer and stuff like that. And I think what you did is you had the cinnamon little candy things.
Did I do the jelly
You
beans?
did, yeah,
Okay.
you did. So I've
done that.
I saw that. I saw you do that. I was like, wow. Like, so I was learning. I was really early in my craft beer journey as well. You know, I wasn't at a brewery yet. I was trying to manage like an off brand and stuff like that helped breweries, but I wasn't at an actual brewery. So like it was pretty early on when I was trying to learn all this stuff. And that was a huge eye opener. And I was like, and I've always said like there was you, and then I had another coworker. Her name was Isla. Between you two, I learned more about beer from you two than anybody else, just from paying attention to the stuff that you guys are doing. So
thank you.
It was just like brief conversations about home brewing and, you know, doing that event with you. And I thought that was pretty cool. So segue into, you know, almost like the Cicerone program. And like, if you want to talk about, you know, off flavors or like, you know, tasting your beer or looking at your beer and what are you looking for in those types of things? Or are you trying to not look for in those types of things, right?
So I'm going to take it back and sort of, you know, get to a sort of a simpler point. So beer is often misunderstood by many people, and I think undervalued a little bit too. A lot of people people like what they like and dislike what they like. There's never a right or wrong for that. But a lot of people say they don't like beer. And what I've found just, you know, with doing this for such a long time is that they miss a lot of the qualities of the beer by not actually drinking it like in the correct manner. And I don't like to sort of, you know, be going, you know, teacher, you're doing it wrong kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just, you know, the simple thing like pouring it into a glass like changes the flavor of the beer. I'm all about experiencing the beer in the best possible way to showcase the brewer's art, because it is an art. And also for the consumer to get the best experience from their beer. And, you know, picking up all the different flavors. So I like to start off with, I want you to taste the beer, you know, pour it into a glass, let out some of the carbonation because, you know, otherwise that does change the flavor of the beer if you keep all the carbonation in the beer. But the other thing is too, you know, it just fills your stomach with gas and then you burp a lot. It makes beer taste a little more bitter. It doesn't allow you to taste some of the more subtle flavors if you drink it ice cold out of a bottle. So pouring it into a glass. And I like to teach people about recognize the flavors and liken them to food flavors. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you like to eat? You know, do you like to eat toast? Well, taste this red beer. It's got a toasty flavor. Do you like to drink coffee? Well, taste this porter or stout. It tastes like, you know, bitter chocolate or coffee. You know, do you like spicy food? Do you like to bake? Do you like cinnamon and cloves? Okay, taste this Hefeweizen, and it's got this nice little cinnamony clove flavor in it. Yeah. So that's how I like to approach it. The off flavor thing sort of comes later. You know, sure. you need to understand what your beer should taste like before you can understand what your beer shouldn't taste.
Gotcha. Right on.
So I'm not sure. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had something to throw in there too, like what you're talking about with undervaluing beer. I think a lot of people undervalue beer and they overvalue wine. So with a beer, with the wine, you know you want to put it in a glass. You know you don't drink wine right out the top.
At the bottle.
I
usually
have done that. Usually.
Ice cold.
Yeah.
You know, let's grab this $50 bottle of red wine and chug it out the bottle ice cold.
Yeah, everybody drinks wine how it's supposed to be drank. You know, either it's a cold one, it's a hot one, and you always put it in a glass. With beer, people just see it and go, okay, I'll drink it out of the top, or it won't be the right temperature. And then when they go, well, it doesn't taste like it should, they go, well, it's because of the beer, not because I didn't value it like we do
Yeah.
wine.
Yeah.
One of the things I tell people is, the first time when they're like, I don't like beer. First, I'll go, so the first time you had wine, the first time you drank a Merlot, did you love it? No. Oh, okay. The first time you had white Zinfandel, which is a lot of people drink that, did you love it? No, okay. So you kept drinking it, you kept drinking it, and then you started liking it. Your palate started opening up to it. And then they'll go, oh, same thing about beer. And then they'll change their minds.
One of the things that I learned from Renee Greff when I was over at Arbor was that I was at the point where like I wasn't really into sours. Like I had tasted a couple and I wasn't super excited about them. So she was just like, you have to drink a certain amount before you can start to appreciate it. And you just have to keep drinking it and tasting it. And then you'll find one, which I already knew that, especially like IPAs, like early on, like I was drinking like reds and ambers and lagers and all that stuff before I got to, getting into IPAs and stuff like that. It took forever. Right. So shout out to Renee Greff for that piece of information that I've followed.
We miss those guys.
Yeah.
They're currently in transition from India back to Portugal, I think.
Yep. I can't confirm that, but I know that they're back and forth. Right. So.
One thing on that you said again, my last point of interjecting.
Sure. No.
I remember I went to an Irish pub maybe 20 years ago. I don't know. I was traveling a lot because I used to do auto shows and I had a whole nother life. And I went to an Irish pub and I was like, well, I'll have an amber or something like that. And he goes, well, Lassie, you ever have a Guinness? My Irish accent's terrible, but that's the best I can do.
Not bad.
And I was like, no. And I go, I don't think I want one of those. And he was like, oh.
It's a dark beer and it's scary.
I know. I was like, I don't think I want that. And he was, oh, you should try it. And I was like, but I don't want to try it. And I was like, I probably won't like it. He goes, well, here's the thing. If you have 3 Guinnesses, you will love it. So I will give you one today. And the next time, after your third one, you will love it. And so he was right. I had that one. The next time I went to a different place, went to an Irish pub, had another one, third time, I was like, I'm in love.
Yep.
So
love Guinness, but I'm also going to interrupt again. I hope this is all right.
This is an interrupt. We're having you can say whatever you want,
Dave, about not liking sours and then not liking IPA.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out here that if you understand what's in your glass, this helps. Like for instance, IPAs have the most amazing aroma and flavor. Yeah. They're not just about bitterness, but you have to teach people. To look for that, show them a little bit of sniffing technique. So, like I can't tell you how many people I have given IPA to and said, I want you to smell this. What does it smell like? And blah, 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 the whole thing. And, without being too complicated, just to teach them that IPA smells like fruit a lot of the time and it's nice. And the same thing with sour. Sour beers are just not sour. Teach people about them, like it's the difference between, say, vinegar and, and yogurt. There are different kind of sourness. And there's so many things that just that little bit of understanding and pouring it into a glass and that little bit of education about what you're tasting, makes people understand and hopefully enjoy the beers a little more.
So then how do you normalize the education? And I think a lot of breweries do a really good job of this, whether it's, using the right glass for the right beer. But, you mentioned going to a place. The way I look at it is there are some places still that treat beer like beer. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to say where I was, but I was drinking 16-ounce hop slams out of a plastic, like Pepsi.
Nice.
Winning. And it was the same price.
Was it $3?
Yes, it was the same price. and so that's okay because I know what hop slam tastes like, but that's not the right way to present it to anybody. And if you're at a place like that, likely they're not serving a ton of it. They have no idea what they have.
They were to you.
Correct. Oh, are you kidding me? They had to pull me out of there. Court order. I'm still chained to the. But how do we normalize some of the things you're talking about? I know that for us it seems simple, but like putting things into a glass, letting them get to the right. I think a lot of times with stouts, I can't taste anything. It's just dark. Yeah. How cold is it?
Yeah.
Let it warm up a little
freezing
bit.
cold.
So right? how do we get over that for the I don't want to say the average person, but for the non-serious beer drinker, do you think?
So it's a lot of it seriously, and there's many different ways, and I'll just talk one of them. A lot of them is education at the retailer level, at the server education, which also starts with manager education. The best thing you can seriously do is walk into a brewery tap room or a bar and have your server explain to you what you're about to get. You look up on a beer board and it says, Lichtenhainer, or
Right.
whatever. It's Baltic Porter. What is that? If you've got an educated server that can say this beer tastes like chocolate or coffee, and it can be as simple as that. But again, that also starts with manager education.
Yep.
Hop Slam, and again, a responsible good server will know that Hop Slam has, I think it's 10% alcohol. So they do not pour it into 20-ounce pints, nor, I mean, look at the profit loss on that.
Yeah,
That's what kills me.
Now
right?
I need to know where this place is at.
I know. When we're done, I'll tell you. But that's the other thing too. Is like they have no idea. And again, this is education. They have no
server education.
Oh, I almost want
base level.
Or where's their distributor?
Yeah,
saying, hey,
yeah, that's
maybe.
So
Yeah.
going off of that, the Hop Slam, like I just found one of our accounts that has depth on. But is also serving them in 16-ounce shaker pints, and that's 15%.
Oh
So-
my goodness!
so-
I haven't
and I've
opened
heard
mine
about,
yet.
like-
I need to go here.
I've heard about
Yeah, we need to make a list of these places.
Bourbon County I've seen places with Bourbon County and 16-ounce shaker pints.
For $47.
Let me
I mean,
see.
like what?
And let me say this:
No,
I have a
in New Orleans. I saw that a lot. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
in heaven.
See?
This is just great.
Yep, and
Oh, not for me. I would die.
I was going to
I
say,
have, like,
keep drinking, you might end up in heaven.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like education, when I said server education,
Yeah.
somebody has to teach the server. And
Yes.
a really good place to start is distributor and brewery sales reps.
Yep.
So they can point out to management and to servers that you don't serve my 15% beer because
Yeah.
look how much money you're losing,
And it's dangerous.
Yeah,
etc.
yeah, that too. There's a lot of things why you don't want to do that, but that's a good talking about 16-ounce shaker pints and stuff like that. Like, does anybody else have an issue like I do with shaker pints? I don't know if
They're not the best for beer, but they're
Sure.
better than plastic cups with ridges in them, and they're better
Yes.
than no glass
Yeah,
at
there you
all.
go.
But
Right.
they are not the best for beer.
sure, yeah,
But, like there's economics at the bar level and storage areas because people stack them. Don't stack beer glasses. They build up crud between them. So, yes, while I don't despise them and I won't sort of yell,
sure,
there are better options.
Yeah.
Some places you get what you get. I mean,
Yeah,
I went
sure,
exactly.
back
Yeah,
to
I
my
mean-
university for a track and field alumni reunion,
Yeah.
and they now have craft beer there, and it's actually really good. In my head, I was like, how good is this going to be? And I don't know why I thought that, because a lot of the smaller breweries in Ohio that I've been to have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like these people were born to do this. So
You mentioned Jackie O's in one of your
Jackie
write-ups.
O's was
While I've
great.
not been there, I've heard so many good things about them.
yeah, it's excellent. Their beer is excellent, and they have them all in the shaker glasses, the
Yeah,
pint
yeah,
glasses,
sure.
and some of them are a little higher in alcohol or whatever. But I will say everything, no matter what I got, whether it was a 9% IPA, whether it was a lager, it was $3.
See, that's
Yeah.
excellent.
I mean, I cried just tears of. I just left that place.
This is the
like-
greatest day of my life.
I'm going to point out that even more important than the actual shaker pint is having a beer clean shaker pint.
Yeah,
If you have a beer clean shaker pint, then
Sure.
it can still maintain some nice foam on the top, which is important,
Uh-huh.
etc. And a proper pour.
Yeah, I don't think we have any. That's pretty much all I have at home too. So when I say I have a problem with them, I need to clean out my cabinets, and I was just trying to look for a little bit of like back to be like, yeah, you should get rid of those shaker bites. But I mean, it's fine.
Maybe
They're
you want. There's this like I can't. It's actually called the Pretentious Glass Company. It's actually, and I think it's on Etsy. But they have this thing called Great Big Set of Pretentious Beer Glasses, and these things are hilarious, and they're about $50 each, and they have these really just have a look at that.
Yeah,
one.
sure.
Look at this.
So maybe you could fill your cabinets with
Maybe I
a
could.
great big set of pretentious beer glasses.
I'd
I
love
will
to.
say I can't drink out of shaker glasses at home. And I don't know, maybe it's like when I'm at home and I'm having a legit drink.
Yeah.
I'm big on how things look visually.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
when I serve
No,
food
for
to my
sure.
family, and now they're spoiled because if something doesn't look right, if something is like it should be this brown and not this brown. And it's funny because I'll tell my kid when it's a little too brown, I'll go, well, that's a Maillard reaction. You should know that. Like, stop complaining. So now she can say it. She'll go, is this Maillard reaction on these chicken nuggets? Like,
That's so awesome.
very good.
Yes.
But I use tulip glasses like for everything because I like the way they look. I like the way they it looks in the it just and
Yeah.
it just tastes different to me. So
Well,
I
it
have shaker
does.
glasses, but I've never pulled them out.
So that's not the only glass I have. So I'm not going to pour depth and make that same mistake into a 16-ounce shaker pint. I have plenty of snifters and proper, Pilsner glass and stuff like that. So that was just I was on a soapbox.
No need to.
I'm
too late.
I know. I was like,
so going with that, is there anything in beer, pet peeve that you guys have? One that sticks out and you're like, God, if only that didn't happen, or whether it's beer or the industry or anything really. So like
one thing I don't like when she was talking about servers knowing stuff to kind of help people along, because you can instruct people without patronizing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think kind of gets to me is if I am somewhere, and it doesn't happen a lot, because maybe I look like I know a lot. So when I'm somewhere and they kind of talk down to you a little, and you're listening and you're like, this sounds like it was rote. Like you just read this and you're saying it to me. And then they sort of direct the conversation to my husband who doesn't know anything. Oh, yeah. And then it's like, they'll come back with a stout, they'll come back with a lager, and they'll put, of course, a stout in front of him and that sort of thing. So that can be like, if that's my biggest pet peeve, then we don't have real problems. But that sort of thing. I think there's a way to instruct people and help people along with their education as they're sitting there without, you don't know,
it's already intimidating enough. If you're brand new, like that kind of stuff will make you go right out the door. I'll
just take anything, and then I'll just drink anything. I mean, I don't do that, but I can see how people get overwhelmed, and they'll like, I'll just take anything, and then they'll go back on Untapped and go, this beer was terrible because they shouldn't have ordered it. They didn't understand it. So.
So I've got two just really small ones. One's at a very big level, and it's an ongoing thing, and we're all familiar with it. Beer needs to be the industry needs to be more inclusive.
Yes.
And, I'm not going to start talking about that, but that is a big thing with me. And getting it down to a much narrower level. Please don't pour my beer with no foam on top. There is nothing I dislike more than a beer filled right to the top of the glass with no foam. And again, most servers think they are doing you a favor because you're getting a full glass of beer. More beer. But it's actually changing the flavor and visually too. Okay, has anybody ever seen a beer ad either on television or in a magazine where the beer doesn't have foam on top?
Of course not.
No.
Never. Beer is supposed to have foam on top.
Mm-hmm.
And, it changes the flavor of the beer in so many ways too. So that's my biggest peeve.
And the look.
At a sort of a much narrower level.
Yeah, the foam makes it look beautiful.
Yes.
It just has like this glistening look to it.
Each beer has its own, color of head and stuff like that. You get the ones that are like, you get a nice amber or red that has like that just like tan khaki color to it, or like a stout, a nitro stout that has the
brown.
Yeah, it's like
thick.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it can be very pretty. That's actually one of the things that got me into beer is I started just taking pictures of beer and I was like, I really love looking at beer. Yeah. So I should try to stick around here.
But I mean, she taught me your eyes eat first.
Well, that's it. That's it. You especially when you're, I get a little different when you're a taproom, I guess. But if you're in the store, I can't drink the beer until I buy it. Yeah. And I can't buy it till I see it. And so the way things look absolutely matters, whether you're in the taproom or in the store, because what else? I mean, it's your first, it's your first everything. It's what you see. It's what you experience first. And if it looks gross, I'm already thinking gross.
Yep. No, that's true.
Yep. That's, our eyes they definitely set that stage and influence our decisions.
So
they actually influence our flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's enough. I mean, if you're already thinking something's not going to taste very good, it
doesn't. It won't. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
So going into thinking about how things taste and stuff like that, you guys just brewed a beer with Bishop Hill, who's here at Brew Detroit. We can get Bishop. Let's get her a chair over here real quick. Let's bring her in. And that way we can talk about the process and, a little bit for you guys. I'll put this over here too so we can hear you.
Yeah.
So you are, actually, introduce yourself first.
Bishop Hill. Been here with you guys at Brew Detroit for about a year now.
Yeah.
Started on the packaging line, instructed by Annette May and many of her wonderful colleagues at Schoolcraft. Help out in the cellar, brew house, wherever they need me, wherever they'll let me.
Yeah, absolutely. Everywhere. You are like the what is it? The rover. Right. So you're able to pretty much go anywhere that you need to go. So you guys just brewed a beer together. for International Women's Brew Day.
It was delicious.
It's gone. Unless there's another keg somewhere. Yeah, you missed it.
Well, I think when he came out, I think I was in Florida working. So
yeah, I was also in Florida, but
not
working.
Yeah, definitely.
I was also
lots of things weren't working,
but
very scary.
That's when it came out, and I was like, oh, or no, that's when you guys brewed it, right? When I was in Florida, not when it came out. And we were trying to, things got in the way, but we're here now, and I wish you would have had it because I got to although I can't drink alcohol. I got to sample it, and it smelled and tasted phenomenal.
What she was talking about,
Yeah.
I was really interested in the whole, like the tea thing. I was like, this is gonna be delicious.
Bishop, why don't you tell us a little bit about your idea and how it came to be, and even go as far as talk about the name that we landed on as well.
Yeah. So when I was given the opportunity to bring anything to life, really, my first inspiration, I knew it was going to be coming out early spring. I was heavily inspired by Black Rock's honey lavender wheat. I had never had anything like that until I came up to Michigan. It absolutely blew me out of the water. I love the floral, and the honey and the wheat go so well together. And growing up in the South, picking honeysuckles was one of my favorite activities as a kid. So I kind of used that floral inspiration. We did a honeysuckle wheat, really light, 4%, clean, easy drinking.
Yeah, I agree. And how about, so there are a few different names that you were messing around with, and you gave me some options, and I chose the one that we landed on. But so there were a couple different options. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that stuff too?
So to be honest with you, I don't even remember any of the other things I proposed to you anymore.
It was like Memory Lane was one of them. And then you started talking about the road that you grew up on.
Yeah. So I guess where we finally landed, the real inspiration behind it all was my childhood farm and our activities that we had there. And so it is Bishop Lane after the road I grew up on. It's just a big dirt farm road. All my family lives on it. My grandparents were there.
So
Well,
that was of course my next question, and what I've been wondering since I saw the name.
Yep.
Okay, so the road was named after the family. My grandfather was Ray Bishop, and my grandparents had 3 girls. The name was gonna marry out, and then they'd pass. There'd be no more bishops, so I got Bishop
As a first name.
as a name,
Which is really badass, by the way.
It's totally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna join her rock band.
Yes. Yeah.
I will-
So
I'm sure you have one, right?
rock band.
Yeah.
I am
I bet you do.
not very musically inclined, but
yeah.
So you should be the lead singer, is what I'm hearing.
She told me the name. She was like, "Oh, I grew up on." I think you said I grew up on Bishop Lane. I was like, "That's the name of the beer." And she was like, "I don't know if I was like, that's the name of the beer. It's got to be the name of the beer."
it was a little bit weird naming something after yourself.
Well, I named it for you, and then so you don't have to have that on your shoulders. So when I heard that, I was like, "This is the proper name for this beer." So I'm glad it all worked out. It came out. People loved it. It might be on. We can check when we go up there. That way I can send you with a crowler of it. But I tried to pull it yesterday, and there was nothing there. So I don't know if they were just in the middle of switching or not. But I'm glad you guys.
Perhaps we could point out this beer was brewed for an international project that happens every year to celebrate women.
Yeah.
called International Women's Collaboration Brew Day.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure if we mentioned that earlier on, but anyway.
You can always mention it again.
Yeah, always. And then we were saying that it was truly international because also Margaret, who is one of our sales reps here at Brew Detroit, she is from Poland, and Annette, as she mentioned, is from Australia, and as foreign as it is, Barb is from Ohio, so it's pretty good, right? So yeah, so I'm glad everything turned out the way it did, and you guys did an amazing job on that beer. And I hope everybody who had a chance to try it loved it as well, which I think most of the feedback was.
And if you didn't, suckers.
Yeah, you missed it.
You're gonna hate me, Barb, because when Mike and I came to get a pint at the bar, I got a crowler for Angie, and I didn't think about getting one for you.
Oh,
So you can beat me up afterwards.
Yeah.
Who's the president now? Today, like right now.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a good. We keep getting all these nice segues. So you bring up being the president, right? So you talked a little bit about Siren Estelle. Can you talk a little bit more? Both of you can do this too, but you are the new president of Fermenta. So can you talk to us about Fermenta? What does it do? Who does it help? Give us your info on Fermenta.
What's my info on Fermenta? Well, maybe maybe Annette. Annette's been there longer.
But you're the president.
You just yelled about who the president was.
I know, I did. But then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, Annette's been on the board from the beginning.
I've gone too far.
Presidents are also really good at delegating.
That's true.
So
yes,
yeah.
Well, I can show you the history, and you can do join Fermenta push.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, because
That
she's
works.
awesome at that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I normally do the history but I have somebody who actually is the history.
I do.
Although I was at the beginning and I did the newsletter, I wasn't on the board.
Yeah.
So I wasn't privy to the secrets on the inside.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's go with that then.
Yeah.
So we came together, a group of industry women in 2014. The two initial women that started talking about it were Stacey and Pauline, and creating an organization for professional women in the beer industry. But the other thing was we didn't want to just do beer. We wanted to do all the fermented beverages too, because Michigan has a great wine industry. The meat industry here is huge. Apples, cider because of our apples, and a spirits industry too. And that was the reason we didn't open as a Pink Boots chapter. So I think a lot of people know Pink Boots. At the time, Pink Boots were only beer. They have now incorporated the other fermented beverages. So we did start our own 5013C based on a sort of vaguely similar model to Pink Boots, which is empowering education and scholarship for women in the fermented beverage industries. So that was in 2014, and here we are all this time later. Anyway, now I'll segue over to Barb.
Well, one thing that makes us, and I'm not sure what they're doing now, one thing that did make us different from Pink Boots, which is why I joined Fermenta, one of the many reasons why I joined Fermenta, is you needed to have a good portion of your like how you make your money in the industry.
Yeah, you still do.
And there was
25% of your income.
And there's a lot of women who are interested in getting into it, but they're still teachers. They're still HR professionals. They're doing something else.
Yeah.
Or they're home brewers.
Or they're home brewers.
Yeah.
They may be extremely learned in the business.
Right.
They just are making their money somewhere else. People got to make money. So what sort of drew me there was you had a lot of women who were extremely passionate, and they still held down a different job. So that's, because I'm in entertainment and I wasn't working in beer. I was still doing a whole bunch of entertainment stuff, which I still am. But so that's what attracted me to it, and I think it's what gets other women into it. And that's what I really pushed is you don't have to make money. You can still be doing whatever you're doing and be very serious and join us, and we will help get you to where you want to be if you want to do something here. We've had quite a few women start in different areas, and now they're brewers other places. Now they're sales reps because we helped encourage them, support them, give them tons of money, which I think for us only being here 7 years, we've given almost $25,000.
Yeah, almost $25,000 in scholarships.
That's a lot of money.
In 7 years with just, it's kind of very much a grassroots organization. It's just like 5 of us on the board.
Yeah.
Just doing a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I really think that's phenomenal. There's places,
I'm so proud of that.
Money. Yeah, that's what made me really be like, okay, I really want to get in this as much as I can, because I can tell that the women here are serious about what they're doing. They're serious about helping other women of all genres, all colors, just being very inclusive. And I was like, I want to be a part of this as much as I can. So I was the newsletter editor from the beginning. Then someone left for some other reasons, and then they invited me to be the vice president. And then I was voted as the president the next year. So
nice.
We'll see.
Yeah, right. So where
I'll go up in
if somebody did want to join Fermenta, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Fermentamichigan.org. So you can go there. And I have no problem with people reaching out to me personally. Like if you know me on any social media and you want to DM me and go, take me through the steps, or you want me to do the join for you.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you send me the money.
Sure. Of course.
I have no problem doing the legwork because I am really passionate about women being supported by other women. I mean, that's really what has helped me probably feel so good about being here is I've been supported by women of all colors, of all races. And that's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And men too.
Yeah. Well, it's just as important for people who are in the industry already to start to, as Annette mentioned, start adopting that and adapting to, what the beer industry, where it should be and where it's hopefully headed. I mean, we kind of have tunnel vision here a little bit because, at Brew Detroit, we're pretty diverse and, women brewers and people of all races in the back on production and stuff like that. So that's very important to us. We're opening a kitchen here pretty soon. The same thing is happening with already hiring the staff up in the kitchen, right? Because
especially where you guys are located.
Exactly. And that's always been my thing, right? So where are we? We should be reflective of the community that we're in. And that is, thankfully, it was already like that before I got here 3 years ago. And it's just getting better since I've been here. So I'm very happy.
Instead, like a lot of the DEI thing is now real popular right now, which makes me wonder how long it's going to be in because it's trending and popular. And so when I encounter people who have been on that train and it's not like their motto, like it's not, we're here to get 12 Black people in here. Like their thing is, we want anybody who wants to be here. We want you to be here.
Yes.
And that's how when I encounter those people, I'm like, okay, like those are people that I want to, align myself with.
It's organic. It's natural. There's no, it's like the movie Office Space where they had to wear 10 pieces of flair. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have 10 on, you're not excited. Right. So I'm totally with you on that. That it shouldn't feel structured or forced. It should just be open.
Yeah.
Not that there can't be help for other people that, again, you talk about equality and equity, right? They're two different things. But I think, again, you're talking about, all right, we need to fill a quota. Right, like that's what you don't want.
Like that.
Disease feels dirty, right? Like nobody. See, it's not good.
I just wanted one more thing about Fermenter. So, Fermenter membership is open to cis women and anyone identifying as a woman too. I just wanted to bring that up too.
Good.
So, and it's only $30 a year to join, and we do educational events. Admittedly, since COVID, we haven't really got back starting it up, but we're hopefully going to do a couple this year, or at least one, and scholarship. In all the fermented beverage fields, from the simplest scholarship, like March was, March was National Book Reading Month. Fermenter gave away $500 of books to anybody that applied. This wasn't even, normally scholarships go to a committee and there's rubrics and blah, blah, blah. This was just, hey, you want some books? Let us know. I'll send you books.
It's great.
$500 we just gave away. So we have scholarships down to really simple, like, who would like this one book, all the way up to full-blown courses in various fermented beverages, and it's just $30 to join.
Just $30 little.
That's it.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to have a good amount of like because of the pandemic, we didn't have a lot of events, and to me, in order for me to stay enrolled in something, I have to be like this with I got to reach out and touch people. I got to see people. So you start kind of. Okay, well, we're not seeing people, we're not having events. Who's the president anyway? She's kind of a loudmouth. So when I actually can meet people, which I met a lot of women at the Detroit Fall Beer Fest. Yeah. And that was great. There was a woman, I won't say her name. She was so awesome. To me, she's like a kid because I think she's like 21. But she was like, I am so happy you're here. She goes, I've admired you from the beginning. You're so confident. She said a whole bunch of stuff that I was like,
me? So, wait, you're talking behind me?
Like, you're my new favorite person, kid. So I think getting out, like when you're able to meet people and show them your personality, then they're like, I want to be a part of that group, which is why I joined Fermento. When I first met Stacy like in person, I was like, this chick is for real. And then I remember meeting you. I remember you were wearing all black. I don't know what you had on. You had something on, and I was like, that chick's interesting. I need to know her.
I was trying to backtrack to the first time I ever met you, and I'm not sure if I have this correct, but you came to a class I taught on Cicerone versus BJCP upstairs at Liberty Street, and I think I could be wrong, but I think that's the first time we met.
Well, that was the first time we officially met. The first time I saw you was at Griffin Claw when they had a meeting. Yeah, and you were it's like you were sort of floating through there. And I was like, who is this woman? She for real? It's like a cereal.
Spotlight following her.
I know. And I don't think her feet are even touching the ground.
I'm so small, I just disappear. Although I guess my head makes me stand out. I'm usually not very visibly noticeable.
So join Fermenta, please.
Yes.
It's only $30. I think we may end up having, we'll figure this out. We may have a promo push where we may.
You should do a commercial kind of like the Adopt the Animals thing and like have you do the voice of it, but we'll just have a bunch of beer around and that'll be for Fermenta.
I could do
that.
I know you could. I absolutely know you could.
This is why you are in the job that you have.
Yes.
You are
yes, right there.
So brilliant.
It just comes to me. Like I just say whatever comes to me and hopefully that's cool.
Yeah,
a lot of times it's not.
I could go, okay, be at the next event, but
yeah, we don't.
I think we're gonna have something because I think we got to have at least some sort of informal get together, so people can at least go. All right,
this is a thing.
This is a real thing. You're not just sending your money to the ethers. We are real women.
Yeah, and we used to do all that. Like prior to COVID, we did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, they did a ton of that.
I feel like we're gonna get some normalcy this summer. I don't know how much of it, but it feels like
somewhat.
I'll take a little.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Barb, you introduced yourself and mentioned Siren of Stout. Can you tell us a little bit about the story of how that name came about and why? Obviously, we know why because you're a huge fan of beer and you put yourself in that position. But how did that name come about?
Well, actually, my husband originated that name because he's the master of nicknames. He was a college basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of what brought us together because I was a college runner and college basketball. So he is big on when he meets somebody within 10 minutes, he'll go nickname. And that's how he remembers you.
Sure.
Everybody has a nickname. So it's kind of hilarious. So when I got into beer and I realized I really like dark beers, after the Guinness thing, I was like, I really like dark beers. And I was going out and reaching out to other women going, how come you don't like beer? How come you don't want to be a part of Fermenta? How come I don't see any Black women in breweries? How come I don't see any women sometimes in breweries? And he was like, all you do is yell at people and talk to them and at them about this whole thing. He's like, you're like the Siren of Stout. And I was like, I remember we were laying in bed when he came up with it. And I was like, oh,
you did it.
Yes, I am.
What? Like, that's me, sir.
You did it. That's good.
Yeah, I took that and ran with it. And
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Did he mean siren as in a really big, loud noise, or did he mean siren in the sort of, mythical?
The mythical thing, like calling people to the rocks and killing them without that part.
Calling them to the rocks and giving them beer.
And then giving them beer.
Excellent.
Yeah. What they do at that point is
that's up to you. That's up to you.
It was more of that. But I was like, I didn't even know you knew the meaning of siren, so that's really great.
Nice.
Learning so much right now. So much information.
So that's how that became. And I was like, I'm just gonna take it and go with it. So yeah, he comes in handy.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, husbands can be.
Mine keeps me fed in beer. I'm very lucky to be married to an exquisitely wonderful brewer. He's a home
what's
brewer
up, Mike?
and a professional brewer.
Yeah,
that mustache.
So
the best.
my
Mustache though also is.
Well, the beer is.
Oh, for sure, of
more
course.
important.
Of course.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He'll make stuff that I'll say I'm on the fence about because I never want to say I hate anything. Like, because that's, it's maybe you haven't tried enough. Maybe there's something about it that you don't like, but I never want to say I hate anything. But there's been things I've been on the fence about.
Pastry stout.
And which is what I keep collabing with people on, pastry stout.
Yeah.
She can't drink it, or she has to say she hates it. So, so yeah, everything he makes, I'm like, this is amazing. And I was like, I can take it or leave it. When he makes it, I'm like, no, I love it.
Yeah.
Score.
Damn it.
Yeah, every time. He just makes magic. So I'm a big fan of them too.
I didn't mean for this to go like
Too late.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
anyway.
On top of obviously the Bishop Lane collab, you guys did another collab. I think the same day.
We did that.
And
morning.
then you've also, I want to talk about more of the collaborations that you've done and what those, what the process was between those. And there was a purpose and a reason behind those as well. So we can talk about those one first, and then we can mention the other one that you guys did at International.
Oh, I was going to say, we might as well start with that one.
Sure.
When we did
you guys were over
At
Eastern Market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever get any of that beer?
No.
Barb is missing all the beer that you guys
I'm
brewed.
like out in the suburbs.
Remember I said I have a present for you in the car?
Oh, hey.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
So go ahead about that beer, and then I'll talk about the other ones.
So this was a collaboration. It was, again, International Women's Collaboration Brew Day Brew. It was hosted by Eastern Market Brewing, and it was a collaboration between Eastern Market Brewing, Fermenter, Pink Boot Society, and, oh, my gosh, you put me on the spot.
Girls
And
Pint.
GPO, Girls Pine Out.
Oh, no, and Girls Pine Out, but there was also the women's group, Women's Home, that proceeds were going
Yes,
to. And
I don't remember
totally
the
don't
name.
remember
I-
their name, and I'm totally
unprepared as well.
apologising
No, that's
for that too. So we all got together on Brew Day, and every year Pink Boots releases a proprietary hop blend that is actually chosen by women. So this is kind of a very big project. Basically, they sniff and taste a whole lot. You don't taste hops, sorry, you smell them. And they put together a blend. And it's created into a hop palette with all these different blends of hops. And so if you want, you can get that particular hop blend and brew a beer for Women's Collaboration Brew Day. So we use that particular hop blend. It was a hazy pale ale using that hop blend, and it was a great day. We had the woman from the charity organisation, again, talk about her charity, and a bunch of women just brewing together and just having a grand old time.
Yeah, that's that. When I saw what Eastern Market was doing and with you guys, and basically on the same day, I was impressed that you guys were like, we're going to do 2 of these collaboration beers in one day, but also that the way that Eastern Market approached how the beer was going to be presented and where funds were going to go to after that. That's Eastern Market's always been really, really great for those types of things.
Community outreach. Shout out
yes,
to Jasmine at Eastern Market too, and everyone there, of course.
Yep.
So the beer, it's actually called With Her, and this is the second year that they've named the beer With Her. And last year and this year there was artwork on the can that also was done by a woman. Again, I can't tell you who it was this year, but a very special beer for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, it was cool ladies. That's what's really cool about this industry is, like, outside of this industry, when you meet up with a group of ladies, there may be 1 or 2 that aren't cool. In this industry, anytime I've been with a group, a large group, a small group, everybody is hella cool every time. And I was thinking, as we're letting you answer questions, we are not Harry Weaver. So we will not. I'm going to tell you the thing. We will not take this over. So have your questions.
we did.
You ask.
Yeah. That's so. I wanted to come a little bit. That one I purposely didn't. I wanted it to be more
off the
like
rails.
Off the rails, and we got exactly what we asked for. So
That was great.
Yeah,
No
it
doubt
was
about
a
that.
lot.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun. So aside from that Eastern Market one, you did at least a couple with.
Yeah, I've done 5. So I've done
5.
Claw with
Uh-huh.
them, and that wasn't where I went there and brewed with them. That basically was me being on the can. So it was me and 5 other people who were movers and shakers, I guess. Movers and shakers in beer and trying to just make it more diverse. So that was one. The other ones I actually had my hand in brewing and helping get together. So with 5 Shores, we started, it was the Black Business Series, support Black Business Series. And so we would get a Black business, and then also maybe we brew with somebody else. So like the first one, it was me. I was the brewer. So me, 5 Shores, and it was 21st Cheesecakery in Madison Heights in Ann Arbor, whatever. And basically it was to help because the pandemic exponentially hurt Black businesses more. I mean, Harvard's done studies that, Black businesses weren't able to get PPE like other people. They were like, oh, we're just going to turn them down. Like at 26% more turning them down than anybody else. So I was like, you know what, let's do something where we can kind of just get people just give them some marketing, because people don't want to hand out. They want to hand up.
Yeah.
And that's everybody. So when Sean and his 21st cheesecake, his cheesecake is exceptional. It's like the only cheesecake my husband will eat besides mine. Like he loves it. So because of that and him being on the can and us doing like the release, and he ended up getting within the first month 7 new accounts in Michigan. People had never heard of him, but because they were beer drinkers, we vouched for him. They were like, let me try it out. And now he is now he's just blowing up.
Yeah.
That's so great to hear that.
I thought it was amazing.
I did buy that beer.
Did you get that beer?
Yeah.
Awesome. You're helping Sean.
Of course.
And also on the end, there was also charities we were given to. So it was, Black business, a Black brewer, and also a charity. And the next one was Kuma. We had another Black charity, or just a charity, but we didn't have a business because Kuma was the business and the brewer.
Right. Yeah.
So
shout out to Kuma.
He was both. And
and shout out to that beer. It was a sorghum.
That was really
sorghum
good.
IPA, and
is that the one that you guys released at Cultivate?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we released both of them.
You released both of them. Were they both at Cultivate?
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember seeing the pictures of the lines and all that. It's gone very quickly.
It was gone very quickly.
Yeah,
the first one sold out pretty quickly. Then I think it was in kegs, but as far as the cans, that sold out really quickly. Yeah. That was released in Cultivate, but it was during the pandemic.
Sure.
So
right.
Matt was the owner of Cultivate was being very careful about who could show up and that thing.
Right.
Kuma's, people were just, it was a little bit open, so they showed up. The third one we have coming out actually next Friday with Black Calder.
Sweet.
Oh,
yeah.
That had like carrot cake or something in there?
It's banana bread. It's going to be a candied walnut banana bread stout.
Damn.
Not a pastry stout, just a stout. And we have Amazon pastries.
It's got
she made the banana bread.
I was going to say this pastry in the stout.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's not a pastry stout.
It's not. It's
just a stout with pastry in it.
Stout with
We're
flavors.
not calling it a
pastry
stout.
flavors.
We're just calling it
the
stout.
assistant regional
Pastry
manager.
flavored stout.
I'm still going to buy
Whatever
some.
we want.
That's great. Yeah.
Shout out to Black Calder too. I just got
Oh,
these.
they're cool dudes.
I just got. They have the best logo. They're my favorite. I just love their logo.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. So that should be coming. We'll do a pre-sale on that next Friday, and then I think I'm probably going to dispense it somewhere in Rochester. So why do I have something else? Oh, Griffin Claw.
Yeah,
done one with them. I'm gonna do another one with them. So, like I said, it's been this whole group, this whole industry has been very welcoming to me. So I'm very, very lucky, but I totally understand when other people go, I don't feel welcome. I don't feel appreciated. I walk into a brewery and I feel uncomfortable. But it's funny because when I tell people that doesn't happen to me, like I remember I told my mother that, and she goes, "Well, maybe you have rose-colored glasses on, or you're not noticing it." And I'm like, you know what? You can't discount somebody saying they had a bad experience and then discount somebody that said they had a good experience. Yeah. Everybody's experiences are valid. So sometimes you get better to be lucky than good.
Sure. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely if you listen to when we had Wayne, Harry, and Sasha on, that's definitely something that we talked about is feeling welcome when you come into
like instant. I wish I could have been there because I was like, oh, I can say this here.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one too.
I mean, they had to step a foot in before the first foot crosses the threshold. They could already tell if they were going to be welcome or not. I mean, that kind of stuff was.
Yeah.
Can I tell a quick Harry story when you finish? I didn't mean.
Oh no, go ahead.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, I've known Harry for years and years and years and years and years, a long time. So many, many years ago in another job that I had in a retail store, actually, we had this really limited edition beer and it was like really highly sought after and super limited. And I had, probably a dozen brilliant customers, but I wasn't getting a dozen bottles. I was getting like 3 bottles. And so what I did on this day was like, okay, invited my best customers in and we would just open and share right there, because I didn't have enough to give everybody a bottle. So this was a lot of fun. So just coincidentally at the same time, I had a reporter actually call me and said, hey, can I come to your beer store? Can I interview you? First woman to and blah, blah, blah. And I went, okay, come on Saturday. I've got this special thing we're going to do. So Harry was part of this. This is why, Harry comes into it. So I got the beer, and what I actually did, because it was so highly regarded, I made a little altar for it.
I love it.
And I put the beer up on the altar. And then when my friend Nicole, who at the time I just met, and she's the writer I was talking about, she came in to do the interview and take some photos, and I had everybody bow down here, and it was just a really fun time, and Harry was part of that. So
lovely.
Love it. Yeah. What isn't he part of? No, it's true.
That's I was thinking.
That's there's we go into developing relationships through beer, right? And I've had so many different relationships internationally where, Craig Thorne, shout out to C and Tiffany. They are two podcasters, business owners who Craig is Australian and he moved to Canada. Now he's a Canadian citizen. They live in Montreal, and I got them to come to Michigan Summer Beer Fest.
Wow.
That was the first time I met them in person. That was like 5 years later. We had just been talking back and forth online, Instagram and stuff like that. And then finally I talked to him and his co-host of the podcast, Scott, and Tiffany, his partner, Craig's partner, to come down for that. And they came and stayed. And
well, it's like you already know them.
Right.
Yeah,
and it was gone. Because you're like, how are the kids?
There was zero weirdness. So there's that. And then, Zach interviews me one time. Now we're friends. And, same thing with you guys. Like, I think I met you the first time was at Depth Day 2 years ago. That was the first time I met you.
Yep.
And then Annette, I told the story about meeting you for the first time. Like there's always all of these relationships that develop through beer. And I'm always amazed by how that comes about, and it continues to happen. So I don't know if you guys have the same experience as what I do, but I feel like I've met so many new and different people just for
helps too.
Yeah,
Sure.
it does.
Like
Sure. It really does.
It's a huge, I'm noticing as I'm doing these videos and talking back to every single person, it's people will latch on to, like when I said I was at a track and field alumni, then people out of the woodwork, oh my gosh, I ran the 4x8 in college. I did it. And so now there's another level of intimacy you have with this person that you don't, from Montreal or England or whatever. And so whenever you meet these people, it's like, and it's funny because I'm like, if I ever met these people in person, do I run up and hug them? Do I how well do I know them?
Well, now we know you don't. At least right now, you've got a cover while we're still in the pandemic. You can.
That's true. So I'm like, but I know how old their kids are. I know what school they go to.
Yep.
Like I really know them. But yeah, that's kind of the thing with social media. But then beer people on top of that are hella cool anyway.
Right.
So when I travel and I go to places, people will go, hey, do you know where to go? Do you know what to do? Do you, I am at this bar. And no one does it in a creepy way about, hey, you want to meet here? No, they'll just literally, this is where you should go. This is what you should do. And it's cool. You're never, wherever you are, you're not without people.
Yes.
Sure.
Exactly. I'm going to Australia next month to see all my family. And, I have a network of beer people I hang out with there. And again, it's not like I knew them before when I was in Australia. Probably most of them weren't born then. But anyway, I'm going back. I'm going to be hooking up with a bunch of Australian brewers. And actually the president of Pink Boot Society Australia is another, she's like fabulous woman.
Lovely.
And I'm really excited about this. And also to the extent where I'm actually going to be proctoring a Cicerone exam while I'm there.
Nice.
Because, I know the people and I'm able to, with the Cicerone organization and myself going there, there's a need for it now, so I will do it when I'm there. So it's very much an international community.
Mm.
So are they paying you? They're paying for your flight, first class?
First class.
Private jet's going to circle around a couple of times.
Yeah, since you're going there for work.
I can try and write it off.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That's always the route to go. So I think we're going to wrap it up. There's one thing that I didn't do at the very beginning that I usually do, so that's fine, is talk about what's going on at Brew Detroit real quick. So we just released a few different things. Some are a little bit later, but Panda Bear has been out for a little bit now. That one is still on shelf, so you can look for that one. The big things that are coming up. Citrus Blonde 15 packs.
Please say Citrus Blonde 15
Citrus Blonde 15 packs are out. We have some pretty new. When I say pretty, I mean nice looking printed cans now for Yumtown, Cloud 19. Del Rey's always been in those new cans, so look out for those cans. But also what's going to happen within the next couple weeks is we will be releasing the new co-branded Detroit City Football Club collaboration beer. Brand new name. So we started off with Bring Out Your Dead. That name changed to Smoke Delay IPA. That threw people off. That was kind of our fault because we decided to let fans name it, and they named it properly. It just threw off people by seeing smoke on a beer can and thinking it was going to be a smoked IPA. So,
I was thinking it had something to do with 420. I was like,
no, I mean,
here we go.
But this new beer will have a brand new name that is approved by the team, and a shout out to the city of Detroit, the team, and of course the Northern Guard supporters as well. So it wraps up a lot of different things on one label. Ian Burke did that label again. He is our go-to guy. Yeah.
See, there you go, another connection.
Yeah. Yep. And then the last one is our big batch of Cerveza del Rey Oscura.
Finally.
So we did a 100-barrel batch of that, and that will be released in the next.
I'm looking forward to
the next week or so. Yeah. So right in time for Cinco de Mayo. So keep an eye on that on the shelves in your bars here at the tap room, and then. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I just have one really quick thing to say.
Yeah, sure.
I know we're out of time, but I just want, if anyone's interested in Schoolcraft College's
yes, please. Thank you.
brewing and distillation program, first of all, we have bishops about to graduate. So here is proof that our students and graduates are getting jobs in the industry. It's a fabulous program. It's a 25 credit hour certificate program. You can do it in 2 semesters. There's 7 classes total. Our faculty is just like state of the art. We have just experienced faculty, and they've all got qualifications just up the wazoo, like tons of them. Barb actually took one of the classes there. It's a fabulous program. I don't even know how to tell you to reach out to the program specifically. It's, obviously schoolcraft.edu is the webpage. There's information on our webpage about the program. People can reach out to me personally. Fermenter, you can contact me through Fermenter, etc. It's a great program, and education is key, especially in this competitive industry now.
The class was amazing. I'd do more if I was closer. The drive was like killing me. I was like, but yeah,
Sorry,
it's
no, that's all right.
No. That was important
to prove that there are people who go into the program and get a job in the industry.
Actually, how many people? Do you know the number off the top of your head? How many of the brewers here are from Schoolcraft?
I know 2. I know Eric.
There's Eric.
Bishop.
There's Bishop. There's Sean.
Do you know Sean? Oh, Sean was in that program too.
Yeah, and there's been a few. Dave Miller was here for a long time, and he left and moved out of state.
Yep. There's been quite a few people who've gone through that program who
work here. Have worked here.
I think the cool thing too, especially for here, and I think Bishop can talk about this a little bit too, is that we have the big 100-barrel Braucon brew house, and then we go over to the Nano, which is a 2-barrel brew house, to where you're getting a lot of experience on a lot of different things on how a small brewery would work compared to a larger production brewery. So, I mean, I hope that whoever's here working on either systems are getting that, and hopefully at some point can advance their career and know exactly what they're doing and how they're going to run their brewery. Or their brew house, whatever situation they get put in. So I think that's another thing that this industry also helps with is you're able to learn from so many different people and do so many different things that it doesn't really matter what position you're in. You can learn from a brewer if you're a marketing guy, or a brewer can learn from a marketing guy, or a marketing guy can learn about marketing from a brewer. That has great ideas, right? So there's
good point.
That's a lot of.
We're all connected.
Yeah, for sure.
And people aren't doing this with the information. I've noticed.
Thank God.
No.
Everybody is doing this. Everything runs in, everything runs out.
Yep.
So, which is kind of funny because you'd think
Sure.
I don't want anyone to know any of my secrets.
Yep.
I don't want anyone to start
it's
their
not
own
like that at
brewery
all.
and be
But I
more
guess
popular than me, and that isn't how anybody is.
But that's what you learn is there are no secrets.
Yeah, they are not.
Right.
So
Otherwise, people would keep them. Right.
Yeah, yeah, it could be true. Right. I choose to think it's because of how awesome people are. They're like, let the.
But no, but I think that's this. Right. That's what I'm. That's my point. Is that people are that cool. There are no secrets. What you need is what I have, and what I have is what you need.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, and Fermenta. So once again, please join Fermenta, fermentamichigan.org. You can contact Annette at anything. Contact me on any social media. You're an Aussie Annette on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
She's Aussie Annette on Instagram. I'm Siren Stout on absolutely everything. So please, join Fermenta. We have so many unbelievable scholarships, and we would like to help you get to where you want to go. At Fermenta, you belong.
Lovely.
It's our new tagline.
Heck yeah, I love it. I like it. Thank you, Bishop, for coming out. Thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Bishop.
Thank you, Annette. And as always, thank you, Tommy. And
Tommy the best.
this guy over here.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah.
Just in case you're wondering. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So thank you very much. And we will be recording our next episode here pretty quickly. It might be recorded by the time we get this one out, but Sunday we will have a podcast full of podcasters, reviewers, bloggers.
Bunch of hot air in one room.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. It might be another one of those 2-hour ones, but we got Better on Draft Therapy, Sombier, Dewey Pod Monster,
all at once.
Zach and Bruce Brothers. Sasha's gonna be here for that one. Sasha will be on.
Haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people
Sasha.
tune in for that one. It's going to be really cool to hear, their approach to the industry from not inside, but from outside in. So tune in that. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.